So according to reporter Elliot Friedman, last week the Carolina Hurricanes and Vancouver Canucks were engaged in trade talks that were centered around young Canucks forward Elias Pettersson. Pettersson has reportedly been having some reservations about his future in Vancouver over the last few months, as talks about a contract extension between him and the Canucks have kind of stalled out. So naturally, a team that's looking to make a deep playoff push this year would come to Vancouver and see if Pettersson could be available. It's not clear whether a trade is imminent or even could happen, but in doing some research about what a potential Elias Pettersson trade could look like, I am not being hyperbolic. It would be the biggest deadline deal of the last decade at least. As of this recording, in 61 games, Elias Pettersson has 8.2 point share, as he already has 29 goals and 75 points on the season. This would make him easily the most valuable single player to be available or traded at the deadline in the last decade. And looking at what a trade for Pettersson might cost the Carolina Hurricanes is honestly kind of jaw-dropping. Based on historical trends of how teams have valued their draft picks, Pettersson's trade value at the deadline would be worth, swallow your drink because you're going to do a spit take when I say this, the first round pick and second round pick of the Carolina Hurricanes this year and next year, plus another mid-round pick either this year or next year. But wait, Carolina actually has a pretty deep prospect pool with players like Alexander Nikishin, Bradley Nadeau, Felix Unger-Sorum, Scott Morrow, and Jaden Perron on the Hockey Writers' top 100 prospects list. Let's say that Vancouver is demanding at least one of them in this deal, and let's pick the best one, which is currently Nikishin. That would lower the draft compensation for Pettersson significantly, right? Wrong. It would be Nikishin plus this year's first and second round picks if Carolina was paying the fair market price. In fact, really the only way that Carolina can prevent their first round pick this year from being included in a potential Pettersson trade, they would have to give up 2 of those elite prospects plus a second round pick this year. Now, Dave Pagnotta did say that the trade talks apparently involved either Martin Necas or Kasperi Kotkaniemi potentially going back to Vancouver as part of this trade, and those are both very good players and good young pieces, especially Necas, who is a very young, promising center. But including them in a trade for Pettersson wouldn't preclude Carolina from having to move their first round pick. Oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't being clear there. Including both Necas and Kotkaniemi would still require Carolina to give up their first round pick this year in order to pay the fair market price for Pettersson. Now, I'm not going to lie, the prospect of Carolina having Elias Pettersson on their team would basically make them Thanos with all 6 Infinity Stones, but the price that they would have to pay to get him is going to be astronomical. Will it happen? I don't think so, but if it does, get ready to see some fireworks, because this might be the biggest trade that has ever happened at the deadline if Pettersson gets moved.